call to order the September 17th, 2019 Batavia Park District Board of Commissioners regular board meeting at 7:01. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Shelley, can you please call the roll? Here. 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 Any items to be added or removed?
There are not.
Okay, is George going to do it? Okay. All right, so I would entertain a motion to establish the consent agenda as follows. Approve the meeting minutes for the regular board meeting of August 20th, 2019. Approve the meeting minutes of the executive session of August 20th, 2019. Approve the paid expenditures, expense approval summary, or expense approval report, investment summary, income statement. Approval of purchases, approval of ordinance number 387, surplus property. The ratification of the approval of conceptual design and basic architectural engineering agreement with Williams Architects, and ratification of the approval of change order number 11 for the East Side Community Center foyer renovation.
So moved.
Motion.
I'm awake today.
Motion by Tim, second by Dorsey. Any further discussion? Shelley, just go ahead.
Aye.
Dorsey?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye, motion carries. So I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as established.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Dorsey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is matters from the public. Seeing none. Matters of commissioners. Any commissioners want to make any statements or comments this evening?
Just wanted to say that I was at the inaugural event for the Eastside Community Center's kids playground. I guess it would be kindergarten or
The playground dedication.
playground dedication. That's what it is. Anyway, it's actually a beautiful park. I would suggest that it's open up to the public, so feel free to go and check it out. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with some of the kind of innovative ways kids can interact with their parks. The drums are one of my favorite parts. I can see how they would get annoying. So
Brings out the big then, right?
yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else? All right. Next item on the agenda is Batavia Parks Foundation.
Hey, everybody, thanks for having me here again, and I will leave after this. You're not stuck with me the whole time.
Oh, you're invited.
Rookie error last time. Excited to announce that we have finished Angstrom Field. We put 2 truckloads, 52 tons of ball diamond ball. It's lime ball diamond. How's it pour down for you? It is ball diamond lime. Okay, so put that down. It looks great. The edge of the field, they cut it. We're really excited about that because it's something that we want to see work and then possibly do with future fields. So it's supposed to last, and we all know what kind of spring we have this year. This is the same material that the high school uses. They only had 1 rain out the entire spring, and that was because there was lightning at game time. So this stuff's pretty durable. It's really good. And I'm really excited to talk to him about casino night. All right, October 26th at Shannon Hall. I think I failed to mention last time when we squeezed it in, it is an 80s theme, okay? Not a costume party, even though it's one Halloween, but it's an 80s themed casino night. There'll be 6 tables. There'll be a blackjack table, roulette, craps, 3 blackjack tables, roulette, craps, and a poker table for Texas Hold'em. It is $70 per person. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's from 7 to 10, again, Saturday, October 26th. Okay, it'll be a full bar, and there'll be appetizers and speaker tent and DJ, all that jazz. No pun intended.
Well, it'll be disco.
Sure.
In the 80s.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll bleed the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
That's a little more Ozzy and, like, that's all right. We'll put it in stuff.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the update. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for what you've done with Engstrom Park.
Yeah, it looks good. If you get a chance to go over, you'll notice the difference from other fields. I was there yesterday morning at 6:15 when they first started cutting, and all the dirt, if you will, infield was running off. They've always had issues with running from left field down to the first baseline. And he rolled it, flattened out a little bit, where the lips cut, and it just looked sharp. And I was there this morning at 6:15 when they dumped the, I wish I could show you the video, they dumped the 52 tons on there. So we have about 82,000 pounds of ball line, that's what you call it. And it just looks really good. Really sharp.
That's great.
I think families will be happy.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, Fox Valley Special Rec.
Yes, we actually had our board meeting this morning, and it's time for the member contribution request. So, it is our kind of due diligence to serve everyone in our community, as you know. So they are making an annual request, which will be shown in our budget, that we can levy for an additional percentage based on their need and based on what our tax cap is. But right now, they're in a really interesting state because, their new leadership, they, have a lot of new challenges. They're working on a new strategic plan, and they're kind of faced with the future of the next 5 years of Fox Valley Special Recreation Association, and whether or not they should expand their staffing plan, because they're having a very difficult time staffing part-timers. The turnover rate is incredibly high, and so they're actually looking at, do they use a temp agency, or do they pass along inclusion aids onto the member agencies where we would actually have to start training our staff as inclusion aids,
Sure.
and they become more of a training institute. So a lot of philosophical conversations earlier this morning, and my head's swimming with thoughts and ideas.
Yeah.
But in the early stages, but I'll keep you posted.
Terrific. Great. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is correspondence. So we did receive correspondence from George Sloan for the use of Exeter Park to host the on August 31st, the Illinois Cube Championship.
I'm going to go ahead and ask, what is that? I wasn't able to make it out there. What is the?
It is a Viking form of chess, perhaps, maybe, and it's done more like with a heavy wood block. There's like a kingpin in the center with 4 on the sides, and you got a knack block over. So it's kind of a cross between bocce ball and bowling using wood blocks. I don't know, is that a fair description?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And they take great care in these carved blocks to the point where people actually will pay woodworkers to carve out.
Make it nice, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that they're painted and.
Your own set.
Yeah. Actually, the photos from the event look terrific. It looked like it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was well attended, and it looked like it was well set up. And
It was a huge success, and that was the first Illinois championship, wasn't it?
Right.
It was a huge success. People traveled from,
Oh, you're right.
I think all over the country.
Yeah, California has a lot of programs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kevin, were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin was part of that listening tour.
Give me a second.
You and pickleball? Come on, man.
Well, and to Kevin's credit, I remember when Kevin first joined the board, he said he wanted to be the park district that was the one and only fill in the blank. And so he was excited to say,
Yeah.
you're the
Yeah.
one and only that offer Coon.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the listening tour, we would never know what Coon was.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad you're not involved with that. Okay.
I just did George's presentation for me. Because
Yeah, so, all right. Our most fun item on
I'm ready.
the announcements. Katie, take it away.
Are you looking for ways to give back to the community? Well, the Batavia Park District and Parks Foundation staff invite you to join us for the third and final of the 2019 Park Cleanup Day series on Saturday, October 5th from 8 a.m. to noon. We're going to be tackling some projects down at the Batavia River Walk. If you are interested, all you need to do is RSVP to me, Katie D, at bataviaparks.org by Saturday, September 28th. And you just need to show up, bring some gloves, and we will provide the rest. And then speaking of volunteering, the Batavia Park District is currently seeking volunteers or groups interested in helping out at our annual haunted quarry. This is a great opportunity for service hours, team building, or community groups. And the event is taking place from on October 12th and October 19th this year from 7 to 9 p.m. at Hall Quarry Beach. And so we invite you to channel your inner demon, ghost or zombie, and volunteer to help us out. But of course, if dressing up isn't your thing, we're also looking for help for zone supervisors, makeup artists, tour guides, you name it. So definitely let us know. And then if you're not interested in volunteering at all, well, then we just invite you for a creepy good time and save the date to work up the courage to tour the haunted quarry, and maybe you'll escape if you're lucky. And then also, backed by popular demand, the Park District is excited to host the second annual Halloween house decorating contest. Super popular last year. So we want to see your scariest and most frightening house decorations this season by competing against other Batavia households to win Best Overall Theme and People's Choice. Judging for Best Overall is going to take place on Wednesday, October 23rd between 4 and 9 p.m. And then the People's Choice online voting will take place October 24th through the 30th on the district Facebook page. The deadline to enter your haunted house of horrors is on Tuesday, October 22nd, and it's just a $5 fee. And then also get ready to turn the page on Thursday, October 24th at Pekakucha Night. Cha-cha-cha. At Shannon Hall. The Cha-cha-cha, brought to you in collaboration with the Batavia Library. This is where a presenter shows 20 slides for 20 seconds each for a total of 6 minutes and 40 seconds. It's a really unique way for each presenter to share their individual story. The doors open at 5:30 p.m. and the show starts at 7 p.m. Tickets are just $10 and can be purchased at the door or at batavia16.eventbrite.com. And you heard it earlier from the Parks Foundation, but we want to just remind you again to save the date and experience a night of fun and excitement with the Batavia Parks Foundation for their Casino Night fundraiser on Saturday, October 26th. It is for a good cause, and you can find more details at bataviaparksfoundation.org. But overall, if you're looking for more information about our upcoming events or programs, you can always give us a call at 630-879-5235 or visit bataviaparks.org. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's actually pronounced Peacock, or Pikachu? No, Pikachu.
All I want to say is that I'm glad they put a description, because that would be the second thing in this thing that I would have to ask what it is.
We have phonetics.
Yeah.
No, we need the phonetics.
Pikachu. I think that's the actual, because I've been to events. I've been to events, and that's how they pronounce
Say
it.
that again.
Pikachu. But I
So
could
why
be,
is the first?
I could be incorrect, I could be phonetically way off, but you know, I think we're gonna go to staff reports now. All right, so any staff want to give us an update?
I would like to start by saying that last Friday night, the museum participated in the Batavia Main Street Second Fridays program. They had over 30 folks come through, which is really wonderful, because that's 30 folks that wouldn't have been through on a normal Friday. So the ladies were very excited. And one of the goals, one of the work plans that the staff down there has had this year is to begin really long-range planning for the exhibits. They are creating a 5-year exhibit plan for the changing exhibits. And in 2020, the first one up is going to be Community, Culture, and Conversations, African American Heritage in Batavia in March. And then in July, they're going to change it over to a yet-to-be titled Batavia Sports exhibit. So I think that one's going to be really cool. They already are collecting all kinds of interesting things from the Historical Society and some of the folks at the high school.
Craig Seeger with ESPN Animals was graduated from Batavia High School.
Yeah, there's been quite a few notables in sports here, so that'll be a very interesting thing. So, thank you.
All right, anyone else?
So I'd like to provide a quick investment update. If the board recalls, earlier in the year, we approved a resolution to allow us to invest in a money market account called I-138 Financial. That's actually been a very strong performer for us. It's the highest rate of return we have in any of our money markets, and the current rate is higher than the actual 12-month CD we can get right now. So I'd like to thank the board for giving us that authorization and allowing us to continue to be good stewards of the public dollars and maintain our security interests. And the only other thing I'd like to remind the board of is we're still hard at work on the budget. We had a first round of meetings with staff finishing early this month. Everyone did a great job. I was very pleased with the first draft. We're excited to present that to you guys next month, and we'll see everybody for the CDP this week.
Awesome. As you guys might remember, we had a snowstorm in April, so we rescheduled our road rally. It was this last weekend on September 14th, sorry. We had 16 teams, 12 different locations throughout the Batavia, our parks and facilities. So it was a great event, great weather. Thank you to all the staff that helped with that. Keeping busy, so this Thursday is our first Mom and Son event. Next week will be our second. Both are full, over 120 people, and wait lists of 20 or more too. We wish we could take everyone, it's just to get everyone around the wagon, but hoping to look for future events too to incorporate all the moms and sons who miss those ones. And something else we're just added, we're offering family and adult open gyms at the Civic Center. So on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great idea.
Thank you.
So with
Yeah.
the wagon,
Yeah.
is it possible that we could include the trolley?
Oh, it's actually tree. It's at West Main Community Park, where you can explain the route.
Oh, the trolley wouldn't be able to.
No,
Yeah.
you go.
I was on the trolley, it's beautiful, but it wouldn't.
Rugged terrain.
We do like hot dogs out for s'mores, we decorate
Yeah.
pumpkins and our hair and just go back by the park and all that stuff.
But we do have the historical trolley tours.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we could squeeze a few extra people out.
I wish, I would if I could.
Thank you. Katie? Don't feel any pressure.
I was like, is my microphone? No. Plans for the 50th anniversary gala are going really well. It's coming up on November 2nd. So tickets are available for purchase if you're interested in celebrating the 50th anniversary with us. But Park Board members, you'll have an invitation there at each of your places there. So we hope you can join us as well. But if you're interested in joining staff, you can RSVP by October 31st. And we're really excited. Locally, there's a new platform called Volunteer Fox Valley. It's a volunteer platform specifically for Batavia, Geneva, and St. Charles. And we've been posting on there just for a few weeks and already seeing some really great results. We're filling up really fast for Mount Quarry as well for our park cleanup. I think we have over 20, almost 30 people already RSVP'd for our October 5th cleanup, which is really great. So I think that's going to be a really wonderful platform for us in the future. Marketing staff, we're working on exploring a new proofing platform coming up. So we're exploring M-Factory Go Proof and possibly PDF Element Pro. So this will be a new way for us to proof some of our marketing materials and make things a little bit more efficient. So I'm excited to maybe see what we can do with more time now that we'll have those, be using those with staff. And then also, yesterday I went to the first Census Bureau support meeting here in Batavia with other local agencies. And so the 2020 census is coming up next year, and of course they're always looking for 100% participation. Batavia on average is 80% participation, but so the Park District will be helping get the word out with them as well as some of the other groups in Batavia. But if you are interested in helping out, they are looking for volunteers as well as hiring people to support some of the committees they have locally. So we're looking forward to that next year. And then other than that, I've also got a new Instagram portion of my social media stats. So I'll be including that going forward. That's it.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome. Thank you for the updates. Next is the board any comments? Executive Director.
Yes. So as Katie mentioned before you have your elegant invitation to the upcoming anniversary gala. So please mark your calendars for that. We'd love to have you. And you know what? The on button is always the one that I forget to turn on first. There we go. We had mentioned that we had the road rally on Saturday. It was right before the Park District playground dedication. And with the road rally, it was attended by over 15 teams, which is 60 people. And it was like the Amazing Race TV show where people were, well, as you can see the little photo shoot here, but people had a minimum of 12 different destinations where they could collect points, scavenger hunt clues. We actually had buried puzzles at the Huckleberry Beach to the point where nobody could find them. So we made it very challenging. It was almost like an episode of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
So, but it was very well received to the point where staff is going to be doing an evaluation, and I would not be surprised if they recommend doing it another year. So, and then right after that, we did have our playground dedication for the New Horizons preschool staff was in attendance. And special thank you to Tom Dorsey and Kevin Riley for attending. We really appreciated that. As you can see up in the upper left-hand corner, they had the massive scissors to cut, and they ended up trying to cut my hair at the end of it. But it was a very emotional and touching dedication. We paid a tribute to our two New Horizons preschool teachers that passed way too early on in life, Courtney Aroni and Marie McMullen. And as I was giving a tribute to the teachers, a little boy was sitting at on the right-hand side, you can see the little boy sitting there at the picnic table. One of them pointed, and that was right in front of me, pointed up behind me. So I turned around, and there was a singular blue balloon floating up from the heavens, floating to the heavens. And so I made a comment that, that's a sign from heaven that Marie and Courtney were with us, and I was not a dry eye in the entire playground dedication after that. And also, we paid a tribute to Officer Emil Jensen. Last year's New Horizons preschool teachers had made a handmade banner, literally handmade with all their handprints, and said thank you for giving us a hand across the street, and signed all their names and presented it to them at the playground dedication. So it was a feel-good, warm, fuzzy, well-attended event as well. We had 65 people in attendance. And so again, thank you for your support. And Jimmy B, thank you. Great job with the glue that kept it all together with Upland Design and the poured-in-place surfacing and coordinating with the New Horizons preschool teachers.
Good project.
Speaking of warm, fuzzy, good projects, I went too soon. Eric Locker and I received an email from the Homestead, which is now the Covenant Living at the Homestead, and they are actually a sponsor of the Park Districts as well. They wanted to do a Kindness Rocks project at the Batavia Riverwalk. So I reached out to the city just to make sure that they were on board with it, that we would manage it. But ultimately, there were 60 hand-painted rocks that we placed down and created a little heart-shaped area for it. And as you can see, the little ones, people were posting and putting the hashtag for Kindness Rocks throughout Batavia and posting on Facebook. So it kind of went viral on us, which is perfect. It's what we wanted. And what's really, really special is going back to the heart. When people would take the rocks, because we're trying to spread kindness throughout town, so you take a rock and you give it to someone as a token of kindness, people would reshape the heart to make it smaller, so that way there wasn't a hole in the heart. Very sweet, very touching. And since warm fuzzy is my theme for this, I would like to mention that we just last week hosted West Aurora High School, the special education program out of Mill Creek at South Mill Creek Community Park. And in the upper right-hand corner, it's Ellen Locker's classroom. So Eric had a chance to, kind of go full circle with his family and professional life there. But it was great. They were able to, as you can see, empty sand, we're going to replenish it back into the play devices that needed it. And they helped rake mulch. They did a variety of tasks, and so
That's awesome.
hands-on.
That's great.
And earlier in the month, we had a visit from Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, and she got a tour of the Depot Museum, and she's a wonderful contact and representative for us. And we've established that relationship. We gave her an invitation per gentleman's request, gave her an invitation to join us at the IAPI Perry State Conference. So hopefully she'll take us up on it. Tomorrow night at this time, Brittany Bruno and I will be at the Batavia Senior Citizens Club's 50th anniversary gala. So I thought how appropriate. Some of the seniors may be shown in this picture. I'm not quite sure, but there's a very good chance. From the inception of the Park District Basketball is one of the only programs that we offer.
Is that the old high school? It used to be across the street?
Yeah, that's Dan Brace being the old,
No kidding. Wow.
And since we're turning pages of time, just a reminder about
Peachock. I looked it up. No, it's peachock. It's 3 syllables. Peachock. It's Japanese for wait.
visual storytelling.
The Japanese term means chit chat.
So I highly encourage all of you to all of you at home. You're more than welcome to attend. It's the first time that the Batavia Public Library and the Batavia Park District have partnered on this event. And we're fully utilizing what will be our new liquor license at the time and our new kitchen and just kind of a feel-good celebration at Shannon Hall. And at Shannon Hall as well, feel-good celebration casino night, Parks Foundation, as Walter had mentioned. And you know, it's really exciting that the Parks Foundation is kind of regrouping. They have a lot of fresh blood on their board, and they're really trying to do an event like this to raise the funds so that they can pick their next big project. And Haunted Quarry is just around the corner, as well as the Halloween house decorating contest. I put these both on the same slide because I'm amazed at how many people tell me when they first moved to Batavia, or even consultants working on a comprehensive master plan, how many people tell me that they didn't realize what a fall town Batavia really is. Like, we really celebrate Halloween, like in terms of the decorating contest. We don't get nearly the responses for the Christmas or the holiday decorating contest as we do the Halloween decorating contest. And Haunted Quarry gets so much foot traffic between the volunteers, between the people attending, that, you know, Batavia is a football town. Again, it's the fall. I mean, Batavia really loves fall. So we really try to go all out with our fall events. So kudos to the recreation and marketing teams for joining up forces on these events. And last but not least, for those of you watching at home, Saturday, November 2nd, we would love to have you. This is for the general public from 7 to 11. It's celebrating 50 years of the Batavia Park District. That's right.
Awesome. Great update.
Thank you.
All right. So Jeff, I think you're up.
Other Jeff. Like, wait a minute.
This is our listening summary. Listening tour summary. Welcome, Jeff.
A month late, but happy to be here.
I didn't go there. I didn't have to go there.
That's all right. It's good to be back and to finally share with you an overview of the listening tour that we did in the early part of the summer. You'll recall that we had 6 sessions on different dates, different times, to make it easy for any resident to find at least one session that they could attend and at different locations as well. We got a lot of really good information from those who attended. Attendance was a little light at first. It really finished with a bang at the end with a fairly large group on the last Saturday. But again, thanks to the staff for setting everything up and getting it ready and attending, as well as to the commissioners who were able to come out and be part of the process as well. I'm just going to walk through some of the oops, I think this is the survey. Or is this just what we showed? Okay, I'm just going to walk through some of the highlights of the tour, and we have examples of what was shared with the attendees at those sessions. So again, there were 6 in all from roughly mid-May through mid-June. We had a couple of extra sessions scheduled, but conflicts prevented those from happening. The theory on some of on the live attendance on some of the initial nights after such a rainy spring leading up into May, we lucked out with the weather on one hand, and that the weather was really nice on those first few nights, but we think as a result, people finally had a nice day to cut the grass finally, or get outside and do things, and that may have kept them from coming. Overall, across the 6 listening sessions, we had 16 people show up. It was a good mix of people in terms of short-term, long-term residents. A lot of people who said they've been in the community for many years, others who said they more recently moved here. A good age mix. I think our youngest person was in grade 6 or 8 or something like that, and we had seniors attending as well. We have people who have kids that are currently in the programs and activities for the Park District, people whose kids are grown and older and in their late teens, early 20s, but who were very active in the programs as well. And you'll remember that we structured these really as truly open listening sessions. First finding out from those who attended what they wanted to talk about, what they wanted to share, what they wanted to learn, ideas that they had. And then we had some of these materials that I'll show up there again very briefly, based on the survey that we did of the community, as well as some kind of highlights and high points for the district. The one thing that really struck us was very naturally, very organically, almost 2/3 of the people who attended came to the listening session to talk about indoor facilities and the need for indoor facilities in the community, specifically indoor pool, gym space, track, fitness center. Those were the types of things that they wanted, as well as turf fields. Those were the things that came up most often. We had wanted to share some of the information that we got from the survey on that topic, but again, in none of the 6 sessions did we have to introduce ourselves. It came up purely by the attendees' own volition. There were a number of reasons why thank you. There were a number of reasons why they wanted there we go. I don't know how to position it a little bit better. Some of the reasons why they raised it, thank you, was because obviously proximity and convenience. A lot of the residents who attended said that they were having to go to other nearby communities and other facilities outside of Batavia to go swimming or take part in gym programs or whatever it might be. The destinations that came up most often were Sunset Pool, the Vaughn Center in Fox Valley, Delmore, the fitness facility at the Ice Arena, Fort Hill, among others. So having something that's more local would certainly be more convenient and more likely to be used. The other reasons for it were the economic opportunity to keep those dollars in Batavia. Again, not only having to drive to these other communities, but then Batavia residents having to pay oftentimes higher non-resident fees at these facilities when they'd rather keep that money local, keep that money within Batavia, and enjoy those benefits. Others said that a new facility or community center, however it was described, would ideally be something that benefits all residents in Batavia, not just those who have kids who are swimming or learning how to swim or playing in the pools, or people who are looking for specific types of fitness, but something that's all encompassing in terms of facilities and the programs that are that are offered and make something available to all ages, all lifestyles, all types of households within the community. And then the other thing that came up that I was surprised to hear on a repetitive basis was a sense from those who attended that Batavia is different now than it was when you went to referendum before for this type of facility. A number of them said the town seems younger, it's attracting more families, people with children, and they thought that there would now be more demand and more interest in this type of facility for those newer families than before. Mitch, are you?
That was you.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how he did it.
I got it clean here.
So again, when we asked specifically what types of amenities and features they're looking for in these types of facilities, the things that came up most often was indoor turf, came up a lot, and a lot of really, really great ideas for this. I mean, something that's very flexible, that could be used for almost any purpose, baseball practice, indoor soccer, indoor lacrosse, indoor football, those sorts of things. But again, the young man who attended the last session said it'd be great to have birthday parties there, and just rent it out, let me and my friends run around and have a good time. Second to that, some type of indoor water facility, including just an open pool, mostly for just recreation, or swim lessons, and then other combinations, including lap lanes and warm water therapy pool, especially of interest to older residents, something that would be an element that would get their interest as well. And then the third biggest category was a range of fitness-related amenities. The fitness facility itself with weights and exercise programs, facilities for yoga and dance. A couple people wanted a spin room. And then the other thing that came up that was very interesting was this idea of having it to be a social place, not just for fitness and recreation, but kind of a community meeting place or gathering place where people could go meet, relax, read, see what else is going on in the community, and I'll have a little bit more on that as well. And then finally, an indoor gym came up, especially among those who attended who have children. So those who would be able to use the gym. A couple of them said there's really no options here for this open gym space for them. So to them that was a priority. A few people also wanted an indoor track. They thought if you're building an indoor gym, why not have a track, an elevated track above it that people can utilize. On the social element, there were a lot of ideas here, and a lot of really good ideas. It was mentioned at one or two of the initial meetings, and then we started throwing it out there afterwards, and that's when the conversations really started going. But at its most basic level, it's just a place where people can relax and meet and socialize and get to know each other. If parents are dropping off their kids for a program at such a facility, they don't have to necessarily leave or go somewhere else or do something else. They can sit there with other parents and talk and chat and catch up. With the district, new district liquor license, it was suggested that this could also be opportunity for adult activities, cooking classes, wine tastings, craft beer nights, those sorts of things. Obviously, that would be held in the evening and controlled. But during the day, they would like to, a number of people said we'd like to see light refreshments, healthy food options as well. A lot of other ideas, game nights both for kids and for adults, having local musical talent come in and perform, and people to attend that, giving it making it a stage opportunity for young musicians to come in and get comfortable performing in front of an audience. So just a lot of really good ideas for making this more of a social hub, not just a fitness and recreation hub as well. A number of questions and comments about an indoor pool and its relationship with Hall Quarry. Many people like the uniqueness of Hall Quarry. They see it as being very special and a very specific part of Batavia. There are also things that they don't really like about it, especially if they've got smaller children. They don't like that it's a clear bottom and it goes underwater. They can't really see very well the child. They don't like the soft bond of the pool, the cold temperature of the water. And so they're looking for an alternative, especially in the winter time, where they can still go, especially with their children or for their own fitness, and have the benefits again more locally rather than having to go to a neighboring community. So again, year-round swimming, a more traditional pool experience, cleaner water, cleaner bottom, and warmer temperature. And then a few people said if it's an indoor pool in the appropriate size and configuration, it can be available to outside groups for rental, swim clubs, school swim teams, and maybe another rental income opportunity for the park district as well. So as we were talking about this, the conversation became, well, that we've got Hall Quarry. We've got a lot of people asking about an indoor pool, and we've got a lot of people asking about a broader fitness facility with gym and a fitness center and an indoor track potentially, and indoor turf and other amenities. If all of these new things were to come into being, would it be one facility or two? And a number of people suggested why not have kind of a combined pool center where a new indoor pool is placed adjacent to Hall Quarry, so that that becomes known as the pool facility. And on summer days when the weather turns and people don't necessarily want to go home, they can go from the quarry pool indoors and go swimming in the indoor pool, or vice versa. Maybe they have family members who want to do one or the other. And then the non-pool facility and amenities could be at another location. A number of people like this idea. Some people were concerned about the cost of what it would be and where the location would be. But to be honest, the location of a new facility, specific location, wasn't ultimately that important to people. They felt that anywhere in Batavia, it would be easy enough to get to, and certainly easier than going to the neighboring communities where they currently drive to. The two conditions they had on location was it would be ideal if it were near existing trails, so families and especially kids could safely walk or ride their bikes to and from the facility. And the other condition was don't put it downtown, because it's already too busy and too congested, so just to make sure it's not right downtown. If something does go next to the quarry pool, they want to make sure that it doesn't interfere or affect the overall uniqueness of that facility. However, they want the overall perception and image of it maintained. So again, there were a couple of suggestions. The Siemens property continues to come up, but when those people are informed about the conditions of the property and the village's goal of keeping it on the tax rolls come up, they seem to understand that. So again, with that kind of off the table, I say just put it anywhere as long as it's near a trail and not downtown. We also try to understand what this should be called. If a new facility is built and put in the community, is it a fitness center? Is it a community center? Is it the Batavia Center? Is it an activity center? And it was hard to get any consensus on this. As many people said, yeah, I like the idea of community center because, again, with this social element and this lounge area and this kind of, see your friends, it's not just about fitness and recreation. It's more social and it's more about community. And this sense of community was obviously very important to people. But then just as many people said, no, I don't like community center because it's too generic, it's too broad, it doesn't really, I don't know what a community center is. I would envision it's just a big empty room somewhere that gets rented out for events. So a few people liked recreation center, a couple people liked wellness center, activity center. One person said bulldog center just to keep, strong with the local image and so on. We asked about why they wanted a facility, and again, the items about having something nearby was important. There were some concerns about cost, but given their perceptions of the changing demographics, their perceptions of having to go everywhere else, their perceptions of making this yet another draw to bring in new families and new residents and then keep them in the community, were all as important to them as just having the convenience of a local facility nearby. There was a lot of discussion about, well, how do you get people who would likely be inclined to be against this on their side, and so things about making sure that there's something for everybody here, young, old, new, long-term residents, families, non-families, making sure that there's enough being offered so that everybody would benefit and have a reason to take advantage of it. That being said, there were a few people who said, look, it's got to look nice, and it certainly has to be functional and usable, but it can't be opulent. You can't go overboard with this and make it, Taj Mahal or a palace. It's got to be reasonable. And it's not that they were thinking that that's your mode or that's your pattern by any means. They just wanted to be very clear as to how this would need to look in order to be as successful as possible. And so obviously the thing that the concern that everybody raised about this is, well, how are we going to pay for this? And if this requires a property tax increase, that was clearly the reason why the previous efforts failed. So if we've got new residents this time, what about the people who are still very opposed to any property tax increases? And so the idea was, well, while there will be an increase in your property taxes, there's a clear benefit coming from that to the community. And again, if it's something for everybody, that everybody benefits. Ultimately, the logic is that as it makes Batavia a more appealing destination for not only visitors but also residents, it improves the property values, which everybody benefits from. We then tested the argument, well, if I'm very opposed to my property taxes going up, and they go up, and now my property value is going up as well, that means my property taxes are going up yet again, even higher. But they didn't think that was a very valid argument. They thought, again, that the residual benefits of having this in town and making Batavia a more desirable place to live and stay was much stronger than that. There were a few people who said, my kids have been involved in the program, but they haven't really been involved in Batavia football or Batavia baseball because those are tryout sports. And my son or daughter likes those sports and likes to play basketball or likes to do those things, but they're not doing it on a competitive level, nor do they wish to do it on a competitive level. They want to do it to have fun. And that's really what they're looking for the Park District to offer, is an opportunity for kids who enjoy sports, enjoy those kinds of activities, again, not on a competitive level, to have have a clear option, which again, they don't feel is very prevalent or immediately available in the community. And so such a facility would allow for those kinds of programs to be available to those kids as well. And related to that, at the last session, there were a couple of comments about how such a facility available to everybody improves the health equity in the community and the fitness equity in the community. It would be more affordable than private facilities. It would be more local and more likely to be used. Anybody could use it. They don't have to qualify for it. If there's financial issues, there are scholarships and discounts available to them. There are more opportunities through these types of facilities through the Park District than currently available anywhere else. And so that was a key point for some. So again, the main thing was if it's got something for everybody, it should be a no-brainer. Any questions?
I think it's awesome. I mean, it did what we wanted to do, which was to have not just a silent survey, but actually have a dialogue going so we can drill in a little bit. I think I attended almost all the last one. And I thought the conversation was great. I think it was an honest assessment of what happened in the past and what people are looking for us as a board and as a district to help them, improve the quality of life here in Batavia. So I appreciate all your help on this, and this summary is fantastic. I appreciate that.
And we learned about food.
We learned about food, and he's sitting right behind you. Perfect. Board, any questions for Jeff?
No, I thought it was a great report. It has a lot of really good information in it.
And I think you echoed the sentiments of everyone who attended very well. I think it's a fair, consistent message that you put together here, and I'm just really thankful for your services and appreciate your work.
My pleasure. It was fun. It was a great exercise, especially as more and more people, as the sessions went on, more and more people started coming. So those last 3 or 4 sessions were really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate it. All right. So our next item is 14A, Illinois Food Championship highlights. George, would you like to give a PowerPoint, or you just want us to?
I got a PowerPoint.
Okay.
Look it up real quick.
Mitch right over there can help you out. A little commercial break on VATV.
Up for you. I understand you had an outstanding event.
Yeah, it was great.
Well attended.
Yep. We really appreciate all the support of the Park District through the whole thing. It kind of started at the listening tours. Instead of listening, I came in.
You were ready for us, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. And you guys just really bought in. It was great. It was kind of a crazy idea. But I'll kind of go over here a little bit.
It's not picking up the display here. Do you mind just putting it on the flash drive and move on my shirt up here?
I'll try to keep this short. Are you guys usually done at 8 o'clock?
No, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is exciting.
I don't know where you have this in. Do you mind?
The floor is yours.
Thank you. So yeah, sorry I'm late. Appreciate you.
Oh, no, you're actually right on time.
So a little bit of background about our group. We're called Energy City Food. We started last summer as just a group of guys I found out about the sport, which is kind of like a yard lawn game, similar to horseshoes or bags, by reading about it in a Milwaukee newspaper about the national championships they were having in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is near Minneapolis. And I brought this up to my friends. We all thought it would be a great idea. We started playing it last year, and then around the end of last year, early this year, we decided to kind of more formalize our group. We learned there's other groups out there, you know, throughout, most of them are like in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, hadn't really come to Illinois too much. There was one club north of Rockford, right on the state line, another club that was kind of Sterling, Rock Falls, near the Iowa border. There's definitely nothing in the Chicagoland area. So we decided to go ahead and start our club, and we got ourselves put on the map there, that little red dot by Naperville. There's a lot, like I said, a lot of established teams right now across the Midwest. We're the only official Chicagoland-based Coupe group. There's a lot of teams around Chicagoland area, but nobody's really like formalized the group. So we started, we talked to the Moose, which several of us are members of, and they said we could start a weekly league out there, because they have leagues on, I think, Thursdays for horseshoes and Wednesdays to do golf. They weren't doing anything on Tuesdays, so they said we could have the Tuesday night out there. So we played out there near the horseshoe pits. We had one season went from May to June, and then another season went from July to August. And in between, we'd go to a few tournaments, you know, that were close enough, like Southern Wisconsin. And as we got going more and more, and started meeting these people from the other areas, they said, you know, we really want to have a Chicagoland Coupe tournament. We'd like you guys to kind of take that on, to be the Illinois Coupe Championship, since there really was no other clubs our size. So we agreed to it, even though we would rather probably put it off the next year. We said, sure, we'll go for it. And by this time, we had grown our group from probably, I think the 6 of us that started last year, as we got to around 24, 25 players. They were playing at the Moose. We had about six teams playing every night. And teams are typically 2, 3, or 6. And I'll kind of explain why here in a little bit. And then started with the listening tour. We kind of had this great partnership with the Batavia Park District, and I'll kind of get into that as we go through the slides. So a little quick explanation. I think I tried to explain it in the listening tour, but it's much easier to play it and learn it rather than explain it. But I did find some graphics here that at least attempt to explain what it is. So what you basically have is you've got one side of the field over here and another side of the field over here. So these 3 ladies are playing on one team against these 3 guys. And after you determine who's going to throw first, the team over here starts off, and they're really trying to knock down these coupes or these blocks of wood on the end line. And the object is they want to knock down all their blocks before this team knocks down the blocks on the other end line. And after you knock down all your blocks, you can hit the king coupe down the middle, and that's who wins the game. If you hit the king coupe down early, you automatically lose. It's kind of like the 8-ball and goal, so you have to make sure you hit that one down at the very end. The kind of tricky part that involves strategy is just because you knock down a block doesn't mean that leaves the field. It gets thrown back into play. So what this kind of describes here on this graphic to the right is this team over here knocked down 2 blocks. So this team over here has to throw those 2 blocks on the other side of the field and knock those 2 down first before they go for their back line. So all of a sudden, instead of having to hit 5 down, now they have to get down 7. So let's say they knock down those 2. Maybe they knock down 1 more. Then this team over here has to like throw now 3 back and knock down 3 before they can go for their back line. And you're kind of going back and forth. You can move anywhere up and down this line. So unlike bags or horseshoes, you're not stationary, you can move around. And then there is a little bit of a penalty. So on this example here, let's say this team does not knock down those 2 blocks in the middle. And so what this other team can do is they can actually kind of move up this line and get a shorter throw. So it kind of helps you if you can, actually hurts you if you don't knock down your coupes in the middle. So like I say, it's much easier to show you than to try to explain it. So, we'll be playing at the Moose next season. Feel free to come out and we'll give you a live demonstration, or we could even do one this fall. We'll probably have some more events in the area. We'll kind of let you guys know what's going on. We do have an Energy City Coup Facebook group, which is private, but anybody who asks to join, I automatically approve. So, join up.
The more the merrier.
See what kind of shenanigans are up here. We were at Solemn Oath on Saturday night. They had like this Viking Oktoberfest theme, and the story behind Coup supposedly is that this game goes back 1,000 years to the Vikings used to play it. Nobody's going to prove it, but instead of using these coups and femurs, they would use the skulls and the femurs of their enemies to play this game back and forth.
That's
Like throwing bones back and forth.
Explains your logo now.
Exactly. Well, dark logo there. So they had a Viking Oktoberfest in Solemn Oath. We went there, and they bought a piece of astroturf they put on their parking lot, because usually we play on the grass. And there was people lined up all night trying to play this game. So it got very popular. And we'll do other events like that throughout the year. What we start with is after the listening tour, I talked to Allison and Brittany, and they kind of set us up to play, do like a demo for the people in Batavia to kind of check out the new game. And we got a nice spot that was kind of near the police station, right near where all the horseshoe, or actually all the bags, things were set up for a tournament that was going on that day. So we got there in the morning, and we had about a 1-hour demonstration, and then that was over here. And then we went across the street, and there was another party going on behind the old Pal Joey's. They had, actually Solemn Oath was there also, that's where we first met them. And the guy who owns that mapping company, he also owns Lodi Tap House. He had them out serving food, and then Solemn Oath was there, and then we showed up with our game, and it turned out to be a great day. So that was Windmill City Fest, so that was very exciting. We enjoyed that. And then we started getting ready for the tournament coming up. So the tournament was on Labor Day weekend. We had never done a tournament before, but we had been to a few tournaments, so we kind of knew what the people were expecting, which one was trophies. So for our trophies, these are all handmade. We use those king coups, which are kind of this size here for first place, and then kind of saw them down a little bit shorter for second and third. And then we brought in, of course, the Batavia windmill, had that, put that on top of the trophy, and then kind of a little plaque with a cutout of the state of Illinois with whatever place they're in. So people were very excited to see that. And then we had shirts made, and the shirts are made by, I think, 3D in Batavia. And they made our shirts with the Illinois Coup Championship on the front. We were able to collect 4 sponsors. Many of those sponsors are actually in our Coup League. That helped us offset some of our costs. And then what we had is we were getting the field ready for the actual event. So this was the day before the tournament. So this has been probably August 30th. And we had Eric Locker and his team. Is Eric here? No. Okay. Sorry. They just did a fabulous job. I mean, they just I could not believe it. I showed up at 10 o'clock in the morning, this is the time we were supposed to meet, and that guy was already there mowing the grass, preparing the field. This is at Inkster Park, and we kind of looked at different sites around Inkster. We decided that the baseball outfield was the best field because it had a very close proximity to the pavilion, which we wanted to use for food and trophies and raffles and stuff. And it had a very nice level playing field, so that's where it was in the outfield. So they were already mowing the grass, and then I had a couple other guys. This gentleman here, of course, this is Josh Wyatt, can't forget about him. We met him at the Windmill City Fest, and he'd actually played Coup before, and he was all excited that we were in town. And he joined our league, so he's been playing with us all year at Moose. So he's definitely one of our great advocates. And so they had the guy that was mowing the grass and a couple other guys, they kind of marked off all the fields. They're 16 feet wide by 26 feet long. So they put the paint down everywhere, and we just set up, there's like rows, like 4 rows of fields, and then we move over 10 feet, do 4 more rows of fields, and we were able to fit 12 fields in very easily, and we didn't even go in the right field. So if we get bigger next year, which we think we will, you know, we have room to grow there. And we haven't even talked about the soccer fields there, so there's plenty of room in Kingston. So they did an awesome job. I just really wanted to give a big shout out to them. They probably were there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I even left, and they really did it up right. So then Friday night, the night before the Coop tournament, David and Heidi Files were nice enough to allow us to use their facility to have kind of a Friday night social. So they were there. They let us have, you know, run of the whole building over there. I don't know if you guys have ever been there for their first Saturday of the month sales they do in Energy City. Great craft beer, and they're really great people. So we were in there. One of the other Coop players, his daughter was, she kind of sings, trying to get in the singing industry, so she was singing for us, and we were playing Coop out back, and it was really a great event the night before the tournament. So then we got to game day, the Coop Championship day. The game started at 9 o'clock, but people were allowed to get there like 8 o'clock and just kind of start warming up and getting themselves ready. So what I want to show in this picture is we kind of had on one side the far outfield, people just like lying their pop-up canopies all the way down that row. And then the first fields were kind of starting here. So they're very close to where their fields are at. And then, actually this is a good representation because the tents are over here, and the fields are right next to it, and then the baseball diamonds here. So that's kind of how the fields are set up. And you can kind of see where we got the different field numbers staked out with the different fields. So we had 4 in each row, about 3 wide. So we started 9 o'clock in the morning. There was 8 preliminary rounds. So we did 5 before lunch. We took a 1-hour lunch break, and then did 2 or 3 more rounds after lunch with 3 more rounds. And then that kind of determined what the championship brackets were going to be. So if you were the top, we had 21 teams total. If you were one of the top 8 teams, you got moved to the championship bracket for a round robin playoff to see who make it to first and second and everything else. If you were not in the top 8, then everybody else got put into a consolation bracket, and they were all competing to see who would be the consolation winner. So everybody continued to play no matter how they ended up today. And we had speakers there, music, so it was definitely a fun event all day. And then finally at the end of the day, this is probably around 3 o'clock. Like I mentioned before, we had 21 teams, 51 players from 4 different states. People donated money. It was $40 per team to enter. Plus we had our sponsorship money, so we were able to donate $500 to different Batavia charities, which was great. We love doing that. We gave like $300 to chip in and $200 to Forever Dog Home Rescue. And then on the far left those are the 2 championship teams. So what I can tell you right now, like this big group here, picture, except for me down at the bottom, in my mug shot, nobody else is from this area. Like, so we're kind of behind the curve a little bit from where the rest of the teams are. So the teams that came here, they were pretty serious. I think it was probably...
You can tell by the way they're dressed is serious.
If you're wearing pink socks and pink cleats, yeah, you're definitely here to play. We probably had 5 of the top 10 players in the country here, just from the area that came down, and we gave some cash prizes too. So those 2 guys over there were first place. The guy in the pink socks was from Minnesota. The guy with holding the dog was from Wisconsin. The 2 guys here on the right, they got second place. Their father-son team from Upper Michigan. And then that's the group picture down in the middle. of all the winners from first, second, third, and consolation. Anything else? So, but that's it. It was a great event. We thank the Park District for all the support, and we look forward to hopefully a second annual Illinois Food Championship next Labor Day.
How about you change your class?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I did talk.
Yeah, I think that Daniel was talking to you.
I was talking to Daniel, and
Yeah.
we're gonna try to set up like a kids class in the Park District manual next year, like an 8-week class and teach kids. For adults, we just encourage them to come out to the booth, and then we can teach you there at the booth, or we can have a special class for you guys if you ever want to play. I'm sure we can set something up.
Well, that's great. We're happy to be part of the inaugural event here at Engstrom, and glad you came to the listening tour. I think looked like everybody had a great time, and hopefully folks from out of town appreciate the efforts you put in and what Batavia had to offer.
They were very impressed.
Thank you for putting the Batavia on the map with Coop.
That's right.
I was going to say that it's too late this year, but next year you should probably try to maybe to hook them up with the IPRA, have a booth. It's a big conference of all the park districts in the state. It's in Chicago, and you could have a booth, and everybody combined, you could promote it and get more flavor of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that is, but I would definitely be willing to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, somebody should stay in touch with that?
I can let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, the IPRA. Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, George, thanks for coming out. Appreciate the update. Great presentation, and look forward to another season next year.
All right. Okay, good. Hopefully we see you out there.
We may have to have a board staff retreat with a La Coop.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a fun board bonding event. Team building exercise.
That's why we don't have a trust fall. Okay?
So next item on the agenda is our capital planning update.
So don't be surprised next year when you see in the capital for 3 or 4 years out, I want to reiterate what a good time we had on Saturday afternoon. The new brides and teachers and folks and kids, and we had a really good time. I would hope that it would look like that every weekend, but it was crawling with kids. It was great. And of course, right away Monday morning, they were all out the little ones out there for class. But anyway, it's really wonderful to watch. The East Side Center renovations are really winding down. The roofing contractor is finishing up all the sheet metal work, fascia work, and the coping on the roof and stuff. So it's kind of it's come to the end. The kitchen is really wonderful. It was going full bore on Saturday with the big party.
Is there a range in there?
I'm sorry.
A range you cooked on?
Yeah.
Is it next to the warming oven?
It is. Yep. I got to scroll down here.
Oh, I got it.
Yes, it's a 4-burner.
4-burner?
4-burner big burners. And it's got a toast stove. I mean oven.
Yep.
And then the convection oven next to it, which is really amazing.
Yep.
We did a quick orientation for the teachers and stuff. That day, the gentleman that provided all the equipment gave us a demo. So that's good. Big Woods, there's going to be guys out there at Terra working away on the pavilion this time.
Oh, yeah.
We're redoing the pavilion. They're washing it, cleaning it, putting all the new stone up. They tore those faux stone panels off, and there was one of them that had a giant custom. Oh my goodness, it was a hotel. The other thing I would encourage you to do is drive past Woodland Hills to see what a great job the contractor has done there on reestablishing that creek bed. It's really beautiful.
That's great. Yeah, Big Woods, I don't think there's been an hour I've driven by where someone hasn't been on the tennis court.
It's crazy.
It's
It's
Oh, yeah.
so busy.
Yeah,
It's really crazy.
yeah, and that's good. Have you been able to tell, are they playing the pickleball?
Yeah. it's-
Yeah,
I mean, they're always,
Yeah.
that shows up a lot closer than.
And my dog really likes the water.
Good positive reviews.
Very good, very good. I guess the only other thing would be that we're finishing up all the work on the information for Sunday's retreat, and look forward to seeing you and going through that process again.
Awesome. Great.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is new business, so we have the approval of the loan agreement between the Batavia Park District and the Batavia Historical Society. So I guess I would entertain a motion, unless you want. So I entertain a motion to approve the loan agreement between the Batavia Park District and the Batavia Historical Society.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Doris. Any further discussion? Shall I please call the roll?
Tillman,
Aye.
Dorsey,
Aye.
Riley,
Aye.
Gray. Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Great, thank you. The society also, they're going to be approving it shortly thereafter.
So we have the second reading of the operating agreement between the Batavia Park District and the Batavia Historical Society. So I don't know if we need action tonight or we're just.
Information only. In fact, so the rest of the board knows that President Callahan and Jim Rock and I have been kind of using the same method in which we do for intergovernmental agreements and going back and forth with changes with the society. So we're still in the middle of negotiations for this agreement.
So we have no more regular business to come before the board, so our next item is to go into executive session. So I entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss leasing property and land acquisition or 2C5 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Second.
Terry, motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Any further discussion? Shall I please call the roll?
Tillman,
Aye.
Gray. Aye. Riley,
Aye.
Dorsey.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. So thank you very much for joining us this month. We look forward to seeing you next month. We will not have any business after executive session but adjournment. So thank you again, and we'll see you in October.